restoring a 1965 Series 1 E-Type Jaguar Roadster. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Oh yes indeed! We've already started putting in the carpets. It's the centre console, of course. What we need's a roof. Looks good, doesn't it, eh? I'm over here! Hello my car building chums, welcome to A Car Is Reborn. Over the last 6 months I've been restoring every last nut and bolt of this Series 1 4.2 litre E-Type Jaguar Roadster, and it's very nearly finished. All that remains to be done is to do some geometry setup on the suspension, a bit of tuning of the engine, and of course some much needed valeting. So we better crack on. There are basically 3 different types of geometry setup for the front suspension. We've done caster, which, to explain it very simply, this is an upper wishbone. Think of the hub and the axle down here with the wheel there. You adjust the caster by basically screwing this rod, which moves the top joint, the top wishbone, backwards or forwards, which will affect your steering. We've done that on here. We've also done the camber, which again, imagine the wheels here. We use shims, these little jobbies here, to basically pack out the upper wishbone from the frame it's attached to. So this will move the whole of the wheel out that way at the top. So if you're looking at the front, the wheel would go like that to like this with positive camber, or that way with negative camber in towards the car. That's been done as well. And we're about to do number 3, the tracking, which involves combined toe and individual toe. And the man who knows all about toes is our Lee. Lee, mate, before we get on to talk about tracking itself, this caster and camber business, if you get that wrong, because it's only fractions of a millimetre, isn't it, either way, if you get it wrong, how does that affect the handling?
With the caster, it affects the turning into a bend, the speed at which the steering wheel will self-centre. Camber will affect wear on tyres. If you've got too much negative camber, it will wear on the inside. Too much positive, it will wear on the outside, because the wheel will be sitting in at the bottom. So it affects actually the contact patch of the tyre. Right. And obviously tracking can wear inside or outside, depends whether you've got too much toe in or toe out.
The car is now sitting on, the wheels are sitting on these. What are these about?
They're turntables. They're mainly for the caster setting. It also levels the whole car out, because you've got to get tyre pressures right. You've got to check they're all equal to the factory settings before you start the setup. So
take me through then how we're actually going to set up this tracking.
Tracking is controlled by adjusting the tyre rods there into the track rod ends. So you wind it in to pull toe in, and wind it out to give it toe out.
So what exactly is the toe measurement then?
The toe measurement is the difference between the distance of the front of the tyre and the rear of the tyre. So if it's pointing in, you've got at the front, you've got a difference there. And
so it's
that
narrower.
Measurement. Yeah. Basically, it's to compensate for the thrust of the car, whether the wheels have been pulled in or pulled backwards. So basically, with the motion of the car, they should be pulled straight.
And what's combined toe versus individual toe then?
Combined toe is a measurement from both sides, but it can be misleading because you can get a negative reading one side and a positive the other. So we go on to individual toe, and it will actually tell you which one's doing what.
Okay, so that's got to be adjusted by adjusting the track rod ends. If I do that, you shout out how much you need, all right? How much need, Lee?
A little bit more. About half a turn. Yeah, that's about it.
That sounds a bit rough, but we'll sort that out in a minute. Now, while I drive it onto the ramp on the other side of the workshop, you take a look at Philip Haslam's Aston Martin Le Mans. And we'll see you back here in a minute. We'll go forward, shall we?
We already own one classic car, and I'm looking for something very specific. I wanted a pre-war car because that's where my interests lie. I was looking for an open-topped car, and I wanted one with some luggage space because we travel quite a lot. And this was very exciting because it was pre-owned by Sir Malcolm Campbell. The historical connection was one of the highlights, really, of it. A guy called Tom Dunsworth bought the car, and Tom's great interest was in recreating or reconstructing the cars. One back panel that's been renewed. Other than that, the car's completely original. He worked very closely with Car Bertelli, who are the English pre-war Aston specialists, and it took him nearly 5 years to refurbish, and he finished it in 1997. There were, I think, just over 80 of this first series made originally in the early 30s, and there are about 50 of them left now. It's in lovely condition, but I believe all cars are made to drive. And so we've driven this in rallies all over the UK. We took the car on a rally that started in Brussels, and we went to Hanover and Leipzig and Prague and finished in Budapest. And then we turned the rally into a holiday and came back through Munich and down to the south of France and returned to England. We were away for a month and did maybe 3,500 miles in the car. These cars are very special and they need very special treatment. And so many times have I seen people where they've made the mistake of just going to the local friendly garage. The mechanics are full of enthusiasm, but maybe just lacking on the finer points of pre-war engineering. So I would always say, buy the best you can in terms of either car or expertise. The normal configuration of accelerator on the right and brake in the centre has been switched on this. All pre-war Astons were like this. So we have the accelerator in the centre on this one and the brake on the right, and it just simply takes some getting used to. It's led to one or two fairly exciting moments, but what it has proved is how good the car is at cornering under acceleration. I really don't think I would ever dream of selling this. I think I would always keep this. This is just so dear to my heart.